Welcome, YouTube. I'm Emperor Dion. Today's topic is going to be something I probably should have covered by now. I'm going to cover the topic of the military and my experience with it. Yes, I am a veteran. I was in the military for roughly 3 years, give or take. I was a 11 Bravo MOS, which is, infantry, 11 bang bang, that's what they call it. I was in the infantry, the actual real military, the military that goes and shoots people, you kill people. That's what I fucking did. So I think I have a pretty good perspective, and I'm able to speak on what the military is, what it's about, and why you shouldn't go there, especially if you're an incel. And here is a black pill for you too, while I'm at it. The military, it's not a place for incels. It's not a place for black pillars or doomers in general. It's not. It's a place for conformists. It's a place for jockheads, a bunch of meatbag fucking guys, like the jockey type of guys. The guys with high charisma, what do you call it? Low and hip. Yeah, low and hip. Fucking, it's for those kinds of guys first and foremost. And you might be thinking, like, you don't feel like a man. You don't feel like you got the proper upbringing to make you and mold you into a man. And I'm not going to say the military can't do that for you, because it did do that for me in some ways. But look, it's not the best way or the brightest way to really look for that. If you feel like that kind of person who hasn't reached their potential, I think the military can bring that out of you even today, but it's not the best way to go about it. So here's my hot take on the military. I mean, let's start from like just the history of the military, like specifically the U.S. military. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably similar setup in other countries' militaries, especially Western countries. But specifically in the U.S. military historically used to be run by the types of men who, more or less, you could say they really understood what the world was really about. They were based. They were some based motherfuckers. They understood just how cruel the world was. They knew what was really going on. And, they structured the military in a way that would create men. Real, actual men. They structured the military in that way. And the U.S. military, it's the most powerful military in the world even to this day. Their efforts can still be felt and seen in the military today. These were men who were very based. They understood the world, and they structured it in a way where it was the most effective, efficient, and well-trained military in the world. So historically, that's what the military was coming off of. But of course, a lot of these men from the greatest generation and the previous generations who structured all of this, of course, most of those guys are gone now. Like, they're gone, and not only are they gone, but their influence is also waned. And what replaced them was a generation of leaders who, for more or less, they were kind of brought up. They were led in to the bureaucracy. They were kind of coddled up. They were given positions they probably shouldn't have gotten and that they didn't earn. And these guys, coming from a society that coddled them, that was a lot gentler on them, that told them, hey, you're special, you matter, like fucking, that lied to them about how the world was and how it worked. These guys are the ones who run these things nowadays. So what you have nowadays is a bunch of incompetent leaders and a bunch of just people who should not be in the positions that they are, from the top all the way down. You even from your top, generals, all the way down to your lowliest of private. And I saw this when I was in the military. A lot of people who shouldn't be there, a lot of toxic leadership. You won't get promoted or rewarded for hard work in the military. It's not a meritocracy. It is very much the type of thing where you got a brown nose is who you know. You got to suck up. You got to suck some dick. You got to do whatever it takes to please whoever's above you. And that's what the military is about today. It's nepotism. It's the promotion of your friends over merit. So There's a lot of toxic behavior that goes on in the military. And here's another thing too. I'm going to expand on this too. Like, if you're an incel too, especially, or a black pillar, or a doomer, or just somebody who even sympathizes with that stuff, or even somebody who's just alt-right, or you're anti-establishment, if you are any of these things, the military is very much not for you. It's for conformists. Okay, in the military, you have a lot of top-down politics. So whatever's happening at the top, whatever happens in the federal government, you effectively are a federal employee when you're part of the military. So whatever they decide, you're gonna be in lockstep with that. I don't care what kind of base red pill shit you're on, you're gonna comply with a lawful order. Okay, you just are. You don't have a choice in the matter. So as far as like, whatever mandates come down from the federal government, like these COVID mandates, a lot of these guys in the military are the first ones to get those COVID vaccines. Even if it comes down to where the Supreme Court strikes this down as unconstitutional, okay, if you were in the military right now, you'd have already got the vaccine a long time ago. Regardless of your opinion on it, you're just going to get it. You ain't got a choice in the matter. It's a lawful order. So whatever the federal government decides, you're going to comply with. Just right off the bat. But if you're an incel or any of that shit, like I said, a dissident of society, they consider it. I mean, well, you're going to get hazed. You're going to get ostracized. You're going to get isolated. If you're an incel especially, you likely didn't have a good experience with high school. In high school, how you get ostracized, how you get bullied, how you get singled out. If you're just an incel or a doom or any of this stuff, the military is high school with guns, basically. It's high school with guns. Like the petty arguments, the petty rivalries, the brown-nosing, the popularity contests that go on in there. The social structure, the pecking order. All that stuff is very, very much a thing in the military. You're going to get bullied. You're going to get singled out. If they see you're a lonely single male who doesn't have a girlfriend, doesn't have good connections with people, they're going to pick up on that, and then they're going to start filing paperwork on that. They're going to start hitting you with all kinds of, paperwork, fucking counselings. They're going to build those counselings up into a packet, and they're going to build a case on you to give you an Article 15, which is, that's judiciary military punishment. So you're going to start getting judicial fucking punishment just for being a loner, an outcast, basically. This is what happened to me. They started building up a case on me because I was a loner. I didn't make many friends. People didn't like me. So they were, okay, any little thing I did, they were writing it down. They were putting paperwork to it. He comes in a minute late. File some paperwork on him. Put it in a packet. Build it up. Okay, now we got this packet on you. Okay, they bring you in the office. Hey there, Mr. Dion, Mr. Emperor Dion, Private Emperor Dion. We got this packet on you of all this stuff you did. You come in a minute late. Oh, your uniform was slightly off. Oh, even though half the people in the unit are doing the same or worse things, like half the people in the unit are fucking doing drugs, doing weed, running hot on the piss test. They're doing all this shit, but we don't care because we like them. They're in our in crowd. But you, mister, your uniform's slightly off. Oh, your foot wasn't at the right angle when you're standing at attention. Oh, you came in a second too late. Oh, they'll hit you with all that little stuff because they don't like you, because you're not in their in crowd, because you're not conforming, you're not a conformist. They're going to build up all this little stuff on you. They're going to hit you with judiciary, military, UCMJ paperwork. They're going to give you an Article 15. They're going to bust you down a rank or two. They're going to fuck with you until you get in line. You have to be a conformist in the military. The military is about conformity. And this is the point they try to drill into you through basic training. So, just right off of that stuff by itself, the military is not a good option. And to expand on that further, the military, they don't pay you very much either. If you were to actually live out in real society off of a military, pay scheme, how much they're going to generally pay you, you wouldn't be able to live. It's like right down there with minimum wage what you're going to be making, especially if you're like a private E1 or a private E2. Maybe it could work as a PFC. I know you could probably scrape by as a specialist, but in general, you're not even gonna be making very much money in the military anyways. You're not gonna make very much. You can easily make more money doing most types of civilian work than you ever will in the military, too. So I mean, that's another thing. You have to be a conformist. They're gonna isolate and treat you really unfairly if you don't conform. So if you're an incel, if you're a black pillar, if you're a doomer, if you're an alt-righter, if you're any of this dissident shit, you're gonna have a tough time in the military. Just flat out. And they're not gonna pay you very much. Now, I have a friend too, especially I have a friend. He's a truck driver just like me. He's probably gonna know who I'm talking about when I mention this, but if you're watching this, buddy, we had a conversation about this over the phone. He's somebody who wants to go in the military because he feels like at this point in his life, he still hasn't found himself. At about 30 years old, he thinks that the military is going to give him something that he's been lacking, a structure in his life. And a lot of guys feel like this too. A lot of guys feel like this. And that's why a lot of people do end up going to the military. But I'm telling you right now, as somebody who is in the real actual military, the military is not the best way to get that. It's not. As a matter of fact, I say it's the worst way to get that. And again, he's a truck driver. Being a truck driver that's a good gig, That's a really good gig. Comparing military life to truck driver life, being a truck driver is so much better than being a soldier in the military, man. So much better. You make a lot more money as a truck driver. You got a lot more freedom. Nobody's telling you what to say and think. There's a lot less restriction on what you can do as a truck driver. Like, bro, you get to be an actual man as a truck driver versus in the military where you're just some little boy who's following orders, essentially, at the end of the day. Now, if you're just coming out of high school and you really don't have any sort of direction in your life, I'd say the military is not a bad option, but I mean, even then, I would strongly recommend you not go in the military. It's just you're throwing your life away, essentially. And for what? And God forbid you go in there and you get deployed or something and you end up getting hurt or injured or killed or something, Do you really want to die for any of these Western countries? I would sure hope not. I mean, shit. Your life is a lot more valuable than any of these corrupt-ass fucking Western countries. So much more valuable. What they're going to give you is nothing compared to what you can do for yourself. Just without that bullshit. Don't be a conformist. If there's anything I regret my decision to have ever served in the military. If I could take anything back in my life, I would take back going to the military. I really, really would. I don't like the fact that I did the things that I did in there. I don't like finding out that, it's not about serving the country and that it's not about loyalty or honor or integrity or any of this shit that they try to preach to you. It's not about any of that shit. It's about conformity. It's about you better do what the fuck we say, or else even if we're doing something that's gonna fuck you up, I mean, shit. And especially if you're an incel, a black pillar, a doomer, or any of this stuff that is considered dissident by the government. If you're any of this stuff, it's such a bad move for you. And they're going to either break you with that, or you're going to suffer, like I did. Now, thankfully, they weren't able to break me of that. And I'm glad they weren't. Because if they get you out of being independent-minded, what they're going to replace that with is nothing that's going to be of benefit to you. It's just not. So, yeah, comment down in the comment section below You know, if you've got any specific questions about the military and you're still considering going there, I mean, but please, guys, if you're considering going to the military at all, especially today in today's day and age, because the military isn't what it used to be either. That's another thing about it. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, it's not what it used to be. It used to be an organization that really did genuinely create, uplift boys and turn them into men. It really did used to be, but not anymore. It takes boys and turns them into indoctrinated boys. Don't go in the military. And if you are in the military, get the fuck out. Get what you need and get the fuck out. I actually pushed to get out of the military earlier than my term was, going to be up, because I didn't want to take that shit anymore. And I'm glad I did. As a matter of fact, I hate that I went in there in the first place. So, I mean, just please, if you want to know anything specific, comment in the comment section down below and I can answer whatever your questions are about it. But anyways, this has been Emperor Dion. Take the black pill. If you go in the military, you are not going to be able to get the black pill. And you're definitely not going to be able to put it in action. So please, take the black pill and consider my pill, the gold pill. You will never reach the gold pill in the military, or a part of any government organization for that matter. I'm Emperor Dion. Peace.